Alright, today we are going to be looking at solving equations with decimals, but this time we're going to be looking at it using multiplication and division. So I would highly suggest to go back to your integer videos, decimal videos, and solving equation videos, because it will definitely be helpful for what we're about to do today. Alright, so very similar to solving equations that are whole numbers. We do have some negatives in here, but we're going to go back to our rules, so this is a good review. I'm going to draw my little squiggly line here, which is optional for you. We see that negative 6.45j is indicating that there's multiplication taking place. So we want to do the opposite or the inverse. So we're going to divide. Remember, do not drop that negative sign. That stays with it. This cancels out, which is exactly what we want. We're going to divide over here. All right, so when we're dividing, remember that the bottom number goes into the top number. So this negative 6.45 stays outside. The 36.765 goes on the inside. Now, the one nice thing about this is we go back to our party hat rule when it comes to multiplication and division. We can already tell that our answer should be, well, we have a negative and a positive in our problem, so we're left with this. So our answer is going to be negative. Also, you may want to go back to dividing by decimals video. We have to make this a whole number, so we slide twice here, and we have to slide twice here, immediately bring it up. So if you want to erase all that work underneath, that's fine. So now it's like saying 645 is going into 33,676, right? As we go through, we can see that as a guess and check, we know that this is going to go into this 5 times, which gives us a result of 3,225. We subtract, right? And then here we can see that this is going to go into this 7 times, and it goes into that evenly. Right, so our final answer is negative 5.7. Right, so a lot of combinations of what we've already done. It's got to take your time, and it should be rather long, but rather straightforward. All right, this one here tends to give people some hard times, whether you're talking about decimals or whole numbers, okay? So once again, we want to look to see what is going on with this variable. Well, we can see that it's in a fraction form, but that also indicates that you're dividing, okay? So we want to do the opposite operation. So we're going to multiply by this negative 9.7. Once again, don't drop that negative sign. And we're going to multiply over here by negative 9.7. Remember, you are not lining up decimals when it comes to multiplication. So what we'll do is we'll go through this. This will be a good review. And once again, if we're using the party hat, we see that we have a negative in our problem and a negative, which is going to give us a positive result. So we're going to disregard the decimals, not lining them up. 8 times 7 is 56. 7 times 7 is 49, plus the 5, 4. I'm just thinking out loud here. And 7 times 2 is 14. We'll go back, erase all the things we carried over. Remember, we put a 0 in here as a placeholder. 9 times 8 is 72. That's 63, 70, 0, 7, and then 18. We'll go ahead and add 6, 5, 11, 10, 20. All right, now remember, there's 2 decimal spots here. 1 here, giving us a total of 3. We slide from the right. So our final answer will be x equals 201.566, and it's positive as we indicated before. All right, this one's a little tricky only because we have a word problem and we know how that goes. So let's read through it. Look for some keywords here. It says Leroy lives 3.5 times farther from school than James does. So it looks like he lives a little further away than James does. Leroy, whoops, it looks like Leroy lives, there should be lives here, 13.3 miles from school. How far from school does James live? All right, so what we're going to do is we know that we'll indicate that J for James, all right, and that Leroy lives 3.5 times as far. So in order for James to be equal to Leroy, we got to multiply his distance by 3.5. And we know that Leroy's distance is 13.3. All right, so looks like a very loaded type of question here, but it's actually not. Keywords times is probably going to be the thing that jumps out at you here, right? And you want to kind of get a visual. We know that Leroy definitely is going to live further away than James here. All right, by a lot it seems too. So what we're going to do is we can see that there's multiplication going on here. There's multiplication going on here, so we're going to divide to solve. All right, and since we're talking about distance, I don't really think we're going to end up with a negative, right? So we're going to divide 13.3 by 3.5. Remember, the bottom goes on the outside, top goes on the inside always. We slide to make these whole numbers. This goes in 3 times. And then we get 8. And then this goes into it 8 times. So James's distance is 3.8 miles. All right, as you can see, it's actually not that bad if you're taking your time. It's a culmination of everything that we've done with integers, decimals, one-step equations. So, watch through it a few times if you need to. Please make sure to subscribe, like, comment, all that. It will help me out with the channel. Appreciate it.